Hi.
Hey,
Hello. You see the email from Greg that he's going to be late? Something came up?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay.
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 Well, it certainly has been warm.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, I'm used to wearing too many clothes. It's like,
Is that Mary Lou?
I'm guessing.
hello, Mary Lou.
And hopefully Karen will be able to make it.
Yeah, let's give it a couple minutes. Just now 6.
Miriam, is there a Concom meeting tomorrow night?
No.
Okay, good.
Yeah, good.
I'm trying to keep track of all these meetings and Zooms.
Handle it. Too much going on.
Yeah.
So Karen just called me a minute ago. She gave me all the information that's the same I have on my paper for her to get in, but she said she couldn't. So I told her maybe it wasn't open yet and
Yeah.
to try again.
I think that
Good.
might
Okay, I'm in.
She's
Hey,
in.
hooray.
Karen.
Hi, Karen.
All right.
Great.
So
Is Zell gonna join us tonight?
Hope so.
Yep.
What's happening tonight? I didn't hear.
No. We're wondering if Zell, is that how you pronounce it? Izell,
Oh,
like gazelle.
oh, the
A
new
potential.
lady.
The
Yes.
new one. Yes.
all right.
Should we maybe send her an email? Just
Yeah.
I'll send her an email right now.
Was she copied in, I wonder?
Yeah,
Yes.
Check it.
On most of
I
those.
copied her in.
Yep.
Yep.
She knows how to get on. She's been on. So.
Okay.
So Henry, you'll have to keep an eye out once in a while to see if Greg is trying to get
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, I have that. It shows up on the right
Oh,
side
good.
of my
I didn't know
screen.
how you know.
And it also alerts you,
Oh.
tells you. So,
That's good.
Yeah, so have we decided, are we keeping it recorded for what do you call town office to put in some kind of file?
well,
Or are we gonna just like take the minutes or something?
I have not inquired on this point. Greg urged us to inquire, and I have not inquired.
Oh, I thought I read somewhere that you did, and I thought that it was left to our choice.
No,
I thought-
I looked into it, but
Yeah.
I have not inquired with the town. See,
Oh, well,
because the
oh.
town might have some other reason for it, which we don't want to override unless we ask.
What I know that's been announced before is that they want to keep the recordings in case somebody wants to
Write a book?
view the meeting and they weren't able to log in because of some technological problem.
Huh.
So in the case of, let's say it's a voting member of some board or commission, if they couldn't get in, if they read or watched the recording, then they would be able to still participate in future meetings, I suppose.
Maybe. Well, I think it was more like members of the public.
Okay.
Even though, of course, it is the real pain to have to, listen to something like this. I mean, it's not exactly fun. Can't imagine anybody would sit and listen. Much less
Miriam did, right?
transcribe- Much less
I
transcribe it.
I thought that
I
the,
listened to the January 16th meeting.
Ah. What were you saying, Karen?
I thought we're going to give the report to the town building committee.
You mean planning board?
Pardon?
Do you mean the planning board, Karen?
Yes, planning board building.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
Eventually, right? Not just yet.
Not quite yet.
It's not ready yet.
Almost ready.
Yeah. I just wondered about that.
No, we're going to talk about that, I think. Give an update.
Oh, what about the the electric panels that Cole wants to put? in
Yeah, we got
different
that.
places?
We got that on the agenda too. I think we have to decide if we're going to get started or not. We do
Yeah.
have a quorum, Henry, so.
We do, and we're 5 minutes past 6. I suppose we can move on. What do you say?
I guess
think
so.
we should.
Yeah.
Just in case you don't have it in front of you, should I share my screen with the agenda?
Sure.
Or
Or maybe you can read it for, well, Karen, do you have a copy of the agenda or not?
I think so. And I've changed papers so many times.
I know.
well, I can read the items one at a time. How's
Okay.
that? I'll just read them so we can all look at each other. And so we've got at the
Yes,
top.
I got it.
Good, thanks. Okay.
So at the top of the list, at least from what I copied here, update on indigenous ceremonial stones.
Well, I think the minutes were first, but that can be moved.
Oh yeah, really? I don't know why I cut it off. Oh man, this. Hold on one second. Let me
Sure.
figure this out here. I think this computer's getting old, and it's at least 10 years old.
What is?
My computer.
Oh, I'm surprised.
All right, so minutes, perhaps that was first. I may have missed it here. Hold on one second. Approve the minutes. My mistake. Approve the minutes. 116, 127. Discussion.
Okay, so at 5:44, I sent an email to you, Henry, and to Miriam on January 16th minutes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so should I talk about that?
Let me see if I got your email. I
Yeah,
didn't see that.
I'm sorry, but I've been running around. I just got home, so.
You sent it to my Shutesbury email account?
I did, yeah,
Oh,
as well
I-
as Grace.
I didn't get it. Let's see it.
Okay. So I can send them again,
Okay,
and in the meantime, I'm sending them right now. Discuss.
Sure.
Yeah,
well, do you want to say something about that? I mean,
yes, please.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Defan expressed feeling attacked. She noticed that she has been attempting to accommodate feedback from the HC, but is getting contradictory messages. It feels like she cannot do anything without being criticized by some commissioners. She noticed that she feels that interpersonal issues are getting in the way of the HC's work. She expressed a hope that the commission can put aside interpersonal issues so that we can all work together, period. Conker and Walters expressed feeling upset by Defan's comments. That's extremely misleading. Those comments were not upsetting to me. Okay. Defant gave some explanation of what she has experienced as personal criticism, including commissioners circulating, and I have issue with that word, emails from outside parties that contain ad hominem attacks on her. And then it goes on to say that, Henry, you noted the HC has decided on a CL workshop. Okay, do. Then we come down to the next paragraph. Conca expressed a desire to be part of the working group. Okay. And then the next sentence is, she objected to being held.
Huh?
Yeah, it says she objected to being held. You weren't at that meeting, Karen. So,
No.
yeah. Responsible for emails sent to the HC by former residents. And then Henry, you're talked about. Okay, so then this is what I wrote to Miriam, and I CC'd Henry at 5:44 p.m. and again at 6:10 p.m. I sent it to you both, to your SHC emails. Okay, this is what I said. Miriam, these
I
notes,
still haven't gotten it, by the way.
well, oh, I don't know why.
Oh, I'm
so-
looking at, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong email account. Sorry.
I have it. I have it.
I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong, I have like too many email accounts here that are
Same
open.
here.
Sorry, I probably did get it.
Okay, so then I'll just discuss, since I think I still have the floor and we're still open.
Yep.
So I say that these notes are not accurate. Okay, there's no mention of both you and Janice stating outright that John and myself were told to resign. You stated that outright, you said it, and then Janice said it too. You should resign. And so John resigns and I did not. You have written these notes to make it look like you were a victim here. You also stated I objected, which is a stretch of that word. What I said was I did not realize that the select board had censored the email I sent out. I actually thought that the HC was getting it and that I had it first. There was no intent to attack you. And I also see that no one spoke of that email's content. Okay, I find this curious that there is no mention of the content of that email, nor of the email Jim sent to the select board earlier. Okay, these are issues that I think until we deal with properly will darken our work. Okay, circulating is also a stretch of the word, leading one to believe the email went all over the place. I sent it to the HC and the HC only, and it involved HC business, and that the SB would determine if it should be sent to the HC as well. Again, I had no idea that SB is censoring Rolf's emails. Okay, and then I ended by saying, oh, here, two more words that I read, I made red, the color red, feeling upset. You do not state what was said. We were both told very clearly by you, and then again by you, Janice, you should resign. If you can write this statement, referring to feeling upset, in our minutes, then I believe you should write why we were feeling upset. This is only fair. It does not make total sense to the reader otherwise. And then I said, thank you, sign my name, and that's it. And so because of open meeting law, I don't know if speaking about minutes and sending it to everybody would be breaking that. So that's why it went to only Miriam and Henry. All right, thank you. Oh, sorry. I think Henry has to recognize.
Yeah, let's see. Uh, There's a hand.
I have a
Miriam?
hand, I have my hand up.
Miriam.
I'd like to make a suggestion. This is a lot, Mary Lou, that you're sharing. I understand that you want this to be accurate. And I'm wondering if we could perhaps table these minutes review for the 16th until I've had a chance to really digest Mary Lou's feedback and maybe go back and look over my notes again. I just don't feel really prepared to make lots of changes right here in the meeting. Perhaps I can take your feedback and come up with a revision and recirculate it for a later meeting.
If we're looking for a vote, I would put that motion forward.
Okay, I will second that.
Okay.
I
Janice.
will second that.
Yeah. Well, should
I
we?
will second.
Janice, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I would just say that I think what I know what I said was that if John didn't feel like he could handle the amount of paperwork and things that we needed to do, then he should resign. So there was a reason for that, and I never said that about Mary Lou. It was strictly about John.
Greg.
Hello.
Greg.
Hello, Greg.
Apologies for being late. I've got two siblings in Australia who've got birthdays either side of
Oh.
today. And
Oh,
Emily's now talking to him.
cool.
That's the important stuff.
Wow.
Seriously.
So anyway, so we should probably then vote on postponing the finalizing of the 16th minutes until Miriam's had a chance to look it over more.
Could I just add one more thought?
Sure.
And Mary Lou, I'll just share with you my thoughts about this. I don't want to spend a lot of our meeting time doing this because I think we'll have to look at a revised minute, but you know, that was a very challenging meeting, I think, for all of us. And it didn't feel constructive to me to have a highly detailed, like blow by blow verbatim transcript. But I understand what you're saying about feeling like your comments are misrepresented here. So I want to take that seriously and try to incorporate your concerns. But my hope had been not to get into too much detail around what I think we could all agree was not a productive meeting. We weren't really deciding anything that was historical commission business. We were kind of running aground, I think, in that meeting. And I own my part in that. So anyway.
Janice, you still have a hand up.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. Oh, there. Sorry. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Shall we move then on to the minutes?
Well, we didn't actually vote yet.
Oh, we haven't voted. Sorry.
Yep.
So there was a motion that was seconded. Shall we go around then?
Very good.
Yeah. Henry Geddes, aye.
Aye.
Can I interrupt this for 1 second, Henry?
Oh,
I just need to qualify it that I'm having my arm operated on Friday and I won't be able to type for 3 to 6 weeks. So I would probably not be able to produce a revised minutes for some time.
I'll abstain because I wasn't in on the conversation about the minutes. So, but
Okay.
go ahead.
So I just want to make that clear to the commission.
okay.
Janice Stone,
Aye.
Mary Lou Conca,
Aye.
Karen,
Yes. Aye.
okay, and
Okay.
Miriam Deschamps.
Aye.
Okay. Approved.
Okay.
Next set of meeting minutes.
The 27th?
26, sorry.
I can't find those. Wait a minute.
And just so you know, I did get an email from Mary Lou, I don't know what it was, an hour ago or something. And so I did look over there were two minor things, and I told her that I would just remove both of those, and I can sort of go over that while she's
Okay.
finding her minutes, but
Go for it.
so it's on, let's see, almost the bottom of the second page under review of language for town newsletter. I had just put in commission asked to review sentences before approving the submission. She has not done them yet. And Mary Lou explained she didn't know she needed to have them ready for that date. So I'm just going to strike out that sentence. She has not done them yet.
Okay.
And then on the last page, page 3, at the top, listing some of the previous people who had worked on the commission, served on the commission, and she felt that it would be better to leave off, and I'm fine with it, the last part of that, and done more for the commission, that maybe that was too much of a subjective statement or whatever. So I would just say that we were just talking about giving personal thanks if you want it, rather than as a commission doing a special thanks. And so I'll just end it with the people listed, then all of whom had served on the commission longer, period.
Thank you, Janice.
Sure, thank you.
All right.
And I don't know if anybody else had any questions or recommendations or whatever on there.
No.
Okay, do you want to someone make a motion to approve them as revised or as described or something?
I move to approve the minutes for January 27, 2021
With those changes.
with those changes.
I'll second that.
Okay, good, thanks.
All right, so let's go around.
Henry, do you want to do the roll call then
Yeah,
or something?
Yeah, Henry Geddes, aye.
And
Greg Carlton,
aye.
Mary Lou Conca,
Aye.
Karen, and I can't pronounce your last name. I'm sorry. How do you pronounce your last name?
With the CH, Chavonka.
Oh, with a CH.
Shivanka.
Yeah,
Got it.
Cool.
What do you say?
yes.
Okay. Miriam Defant.
Aye.
Okay. Janice Stone.
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now we turn to an update of update on Indigenous ceremonial stone landscape projects and contracting. Let's see. I guess I could say introduce a few points, but I think Miriam can follow up, or do you have something prepared, Miriam?
Well, I can give an update if you'd like.
Okay, I think you've been on top of it. Okay,
Okay.
go ahead.
So just to summarize where the planning board is in the whole process, there still are no applications submitted by AMP Solar. We thought perhaps there would be one submitted by now, but that's not the case. There is a meeting this coming Monday at 5:30 with the select board and AMP Solar to talk about the contract proposal. And I don't know if they're going to talk about other issues. So if people are, we should at least have one historical commission representative attending that. I'm going to be attending representing the Concom. I don't know who else can come.
I'll be there for sure.
That'd be good.
I probably
I will be
too.
there. I will, yeah, me too.
Um,
When is that?
that's at 5:30.
On Monday.
Yeah, Karen, I can get you the Zoom,
Meeting
Yeah.
numbers.
exactly. Yeah, the Zoom meeting. Yeah, all those numbers. Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay,
Mary Liz.
you're
Monday,
welcome.
Monday the 1st, I believe.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
March the 1st.
Yep.
Already.
So just to finish on updates, we have the working group has been circulating a draft of what we're going to be calling a primer on ceremonial stone landscapes. It's not quite finished yet. I think it's very close to being finished. My hope had been to try to get at least my portion of any of it completed by Friday morning at 6 a.m. when I will stop being able to use my arm.
Right.
But we're in pretty good shape. I mean, there may be like questions about how to format it. So it's going to be a fairly large digital document, which I'm imagining we will put up on our website as well as circulate to the planning board and maybe to other town boards. And, the public can access it. We may want to let members of the public know that we've done it, maybe provide some sort of explanation on Nextdoor Shutesbury or somewhere. We may want to print some copies and have them bound to give to the planning board and to the developer. So that's something we could vote on and perhaps have some print copies available. It is quite a few pages long, so it would not be, it's, what is it? It's about 70 pages long. But the document itself, which is the report, is only about 20 pages, and then there's a bunch of appendices. And there are some color photos in the document. We decided to include some exemplars of what a stone structure in Shutesbury might look like. So we had some photographs that we're using as exemplars in one of the appendices. You have a question?
Greg,
I was going to say, if you think it's necessary, I'd be happy to work on the layout. If that's the kind of thing I do.
Yeah, I actually thought about that.
I'd be happy to.
I didn't want to give you a draft until we were pretty close to the finished content.
That's also a good idea.
But I think by tomorrow night, I probably could be in a place where I could send it out. Really, it's pretty much all done. The only thing that I felt was missing was I wanted to review some journal articles written by Ray Gould and see if I can incorporate some of her research into the report. So
Happy to help if it's useful.
I think that could be helpful. You might have some thoughts. I mean, it looks okay. It looks professional, but I'm sure you can do a more glossy graphic thing than it has.
It's suitably so. I don't want to make it look like corporate or anything, but yes.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, right.
It looks like an academic paper. You might be able to make it look a little more snazzy.
yeah. Photo placement, for example.
Well, or how they're,
Okay.
I basically made, some collages and Google Photos, and
It may be perfect, but
I made a cover out of a PowerPoint slide. So
when I see it, I'll let you know if I can
Yeah.
add anything to it.
I'll send it to you anyway, because if between now and then, if you had a chance to look at it, Greg,
Mhm.
and can tweak it, then I can work with whatever you send me.
Okay.
So we're pretty close to having that done. Henry's been really helpful in reviewing it, as Janice and Lise McLaughlin has spent a lot of time reviewing it. She's done a lot of the heavy lifting and doing editing and suggesting references and kind of helping with languaging issues. So we've done that. We had a preliminary meeting with Bettina Washington, just to review,
Okay.
their interest in consulting with us. And she affirmed that they are interested. And so now things are kind of left between her and Henry working out the contracting details. Maybe Henry, do you have an update on that?
Nothing to say.
Oh, well,
The other update is that we have had some continued outreach to the Nipmuc Nation and the Gungamog band, Nipmuc band. They are interested in being involved with us, and they said they are going to be sending us a letter that will explain what they're interested in. So we are waiting to hear what that is, and then we would report back to the commission. But I thought that was very encouraging that not
Yes.
only are the Wampanoag interested, but also the Nipmuc.
Great.
So that was
Wow.
exciting. That was exciting news.
Okay, we have Mary Lou's got a hand up.
yes, I have my hand up. I have a bunch of questions. So, Miriam, you said something about 70 pages, and then you said the report is 20 pages. And then you said exemplars, which I really don't know. Is that an example of a
Yeah.
stone?
Yeah.
They're not necessarily found in Shutesbury?
No,
'Cause
they
I
are.
remember-
Well, let me
They
explain.
are?
Let me just
Okay.
explain. There's
Sure,
20, the report that we wrote
right.
is 20 pages, but there are
Okay, who's the we, though? I don't know.
me, myself, Henry, Janice, and Lise McLaughlin.
Okay,
And then
Oh.
there are, you know, there's like 4 pages of references. The reference bibliography list is about 4 pages. There's cover page, there's an introduction, there's some appendices with definitions and different kinds of things. And then
okay,
we took some photographs of stone structures in Shutesbury that were
Okay.
available. And we do not give the locations of those, but are using them just to have as a visual to help people who are very new to this understand what we're talking about when we talk about
Right.
stone structures. We're
Right,
not
so-
calling them ceremonial stone landscapes.
okay. So how did you know to go there to photograph?
These were the photographs, Mary Lou, that were donated by Sarah Kohler. I shared those
Okay.
with the commission, and these photos were taken several years ago.
Okay, okay,
And exemplars means that, examples.
right. Okay, and you mentioned Ray Gould. Did you talk with her, or are you using her material with, and then, what do you call, putting it in a bibliography?
Exciting.
Well, when we reached out to the Nipmuc chief,
Right?
we were
Who-
also CCing Ray Gould. So all of the email communication was including Ray Gould. So she is a part of that conversation.
Okay, and who is,
And when I say her research, I mean published research that
right,
is in journal articles.
right,
And of course, she would be cited
yes.
appropriately.
So who is the Nipmuc chief?
Cheryl Tony Holly is of the Nipmuc Nation. But then there is a
Cheryl, oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry. Cheryl what?
Cheryl with 2 L's,
Oh,
Tony, Toney, Holly, Holley. And then Ken White is the chairman of the Chabuna Gungamog band.
okay. Okay, so, and if I understand right, none of these, tribes are state recognized.
No,
Is
they
that
are. No, they are
Nip-
state. Both of them are.
by they're Nipmuc?
Yes, there's 2 state recognized Nipmuc tribes. The
They're-
Nipmuc
I'm
Nation
sorry.
and the Chabuna Gungamog.
Wow.
Gungamog.
I'm
Chabuna
so-
Gungamog, right.
Wow.
That's a mouthful.
I think I mean federally recognized.
No, they didn't
They're
get
not.
federal. They tried and they were disqualified
Okay, okay,
for
and,
for what were crappy reasons.
Yeah.
They should have been recognized.
of course. So, and, then Is this coming from the historical commission? And if so, as a whole entity? And if so, I would like to see it.
What would you like to see?
This whole 70-page
Oh,
report.
yes, of course.
Okay, when would do we?
Well, I was saying that I was hoping to have it in good shape by 6 a.m. on Friday morning. So my hope is that I will let it go and send it on its way wherever it's going to go by then.
So
Wow.
wherever it's gonna go, is
It's
it
going to
gonna
go to the commission. It's going to go to you guys.
to
You guys
us?
have to review it.
I see. Okay.
We're not going to, I
think.
don't think it's appropriate to send it to the public now. The commission
Right.
has to review it.
So,
Right.
That's what I mean.
Mary Lou, what is the, what
That's-
motivates your line of questioning here? We're spending a lot of time on this.
Oh, that's my question, Henry.
What is-
Miriam just answered it.
Okay.
That it's not okay to go out until the historic commission all sees it, because I haven't seen it yet.
Right.
I don't think Greg has either.
No.
Absolutely.
And then we'll have to copy it and bring it to Karen. Okay.
Yep.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Janice had her hand up.
Oh,
Oh.
I don't remember why. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
Ah,
I gotta
Yeah,
write it
I
down.
Yeah, I don't think I can add much to this. Things are sort of working, moving along.
I think
Yeah.
the report
Yeah.
looks good.
I think
Me
it does. I think it really does.
I think it's very compelling. It's a very compelling case that we make. And I probably will, it'll be sent out to you guys before our next meeting. I can just share that this report has kind of a couple of different audiences and different goals. One audience is just really to educate the public and town boards about some indigenous issues around ceremonial stone landscapes. So there's a lot of educational history in the report. So you may wonder, why is this in the report? Because this is for the planning board. But what we wanted to do was to have a common starting place of what we accept as the history and the heritage of this area. And the prehistory, the pre-colonial history. So that's why we spend a lot of time on that, because we don't, if there are questions about it later, we can refer back to it. Like, why are you consulting with the Wampanoag tribe of Gayhedaquina? Well, how are they related to this area? How are the Nipmuc related to this area? So it hopefully will answer some of those questions. Who are the Pocumtuck peoples? So that's one of our agenda items. And my hope would be that some parts of this report might end up getting put on our town website, maybe used in some school activities. Maybe we could circulate it to some of the schools who want to learn more about local history. Just last night, through a couple of email exchanges with some people that I exchange information with, I learned some new things about how the land deeds were signed for Shutesbury. So I just incorporated that information today, like hot off the presses. So there's some really interesting stuff in it. I'm learning a lot doing this. It's been very exciting and very gratifying to learn more. And I hope everybody else feels the same way when they read it. So that's one piece. The other piece is to kind of lay the groundwork conceptually for why we want tribal historic preservation officers to consult on solar projects, and what we would like to see the planning board do. And then at the end of the report, there's about a page where it kind of has a list of recommendations for what we would like the planning board to do. And I've tried to make it respectful. I don't want to have it be like, you must do this, because we're trying to be friendly, collegial town volunteers with this other board. But we're trying to lay the groundwork for legitimacy about why we have a role in this as a historical commission. And then what would we like to see the planning board do that's within their power? Okay, so we can't say things like, you know, don't approve the special permit. Okay, that's not appropriate for us to give that recommendation, but we can say, when you're reviewing the special permit, here, this, and this are things we would like you to consider and ask the developer to do. So it's a starting point for a conversation that will continue during the public hearings, when we can have an opportunity to add more once we actually have looked at this specific special permit applications. One of the things it doesn't include is a lot of detail about data about the specific tracks. And we're holding off on that because we don't have the applications, and we really need to see the applications in order to prepare that. But, you know, given that we have a 35-day window to respond, and we'll be ready to respond immediately with this report, and then we would follow up with an additional documentation if we want to share with them any information we may have about things that could be affected right on the area where they're going to disturb ground. But it's premature for us to do that. We can't really know what they're planning on doing, so we really need to wait on that.
Mary Lou, is that a hand there?
Yes, yes. I just have one quick thing I would like to share. And this is in reference to Mark Andrews and what I learned from a previous commissioner, Chris Donta, that Mark Andrews has come to Shutesbury. And now I'm not clear if it was over the Pratt Corner situation or the Carver Road situation, but he has come, and Janice, you might be able to verify this. If he came, Mark Andrews has come to Shutesbury already in person and declared that there was nothing of significance
Really?
to, yes.
No,
I can copy and paste it what Chris Donta said.
well, I think,
It's on Nextdoor Shutesbury. I'm
Yeah,
just saying, I
very
want to
good.
share that.
yeah, okay, that's fine.
Okay.
That's great.
So he said something on Nextdoor Shutesbury about Mark Andrews.
That's right.
No,
Wow.
that's not correct.
Oh.
He never
Oh.
mentions a name. He never mentions Mark
Yes,
Andrews.
he did, Henry. I
Did?
got an answer with the name. I'm sorry to
Okay,
beg to differ.
I must have missed that one then,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Was this recent? I don't remember seeing anything on
I didn't
Nextdoor
either.
Shutesbury.
This is like the day before yesterday. I said to
Oh.
Chris Donta, who exactly? And he used Mark Andrews.
Really?
Yes, he did. I can, copy and paste that at any rate. I'm not making it up. I have no,
Oh, wow.
so.
I didn't know that anybody had walked. any
Neither did I.
had walked.
Had walked where though? I mean, he's saying there were no CSLs where?
Of any significance, yes. And
What where? Where in Shutesbury?
right, I believe he was either referring to the Pratt Corner situation because he was kind of involved in that. Or when we signed off, Miriam, it was when you weren't in the Historic Commission.
Oh.
And I couldn't vote. And we signed off Carver Road, a little private piece of land that somebody's going to put a cell tower on if everything works out for that private landowner. So I'm not sure which exactly piece of land that Chris Donta was referring. However, my point, only to bring it forward now, is that he said Mark Andrews decided there it was of no significance. And either site, I would think, just in my layperson, knowledge, that there would be something there, especially the highest point in Shutesbury where they want to put the cell tower. From what I've learned about where they grow sage. They grow it on the highest point because it's closer to the creator, and sage is a holy herb. Okay, so that's it. I just wanted to share. If
Wow.
anybody need be, I'll search it out and copy and paste it. What Chris Donta said, or we can just call him and ask him.
Yeah.
Because I find that very curious.
Well, he's entitled to his opinion.
No, so he certainly is, but the fact that he mentioned Mark Andrews, I find very curious. I don't know. And now, and then, but, so we want to work with him. But
do.
did he tell anybody he's been here before? I wonder.
Yeah, I think I knew that.
Huh, I didn't know.
He lives, I don't know where he lives, but
Yeah,
he-
in
he
the
has-
Northfield area?
maybe in the Northfield area. He has spent a lot of time in this area. And I know
Mm.
Bettina's been here.
Okay.
She came to a public hearing, at the planning board.
In the elementary school?
Nope, she went to one that was in in the town hall, and I remember her saying that she said, maybe she said we, but she said she had been to Shutesbury many times and knew Shutesbury very well,
Oh, that's good.
and that this land was familiar to her.
That's good.
Well, I've
Okay.
heard good things about him, and I think we're on this road now, and this path towards forming a relationship with Wampanoag tribe. So it's encouraging, and
Very.
I think we're in a good place. I feel good about it. Do you feel good about it, Henry?
I think so, yes.
Have either of you seen Mark Andrews face to face? Have either of you spoken with him?
I've spoken to him.
Oh,
Uh,
voice to voice or
Yeah.
Zoom?
Yeah.
Not on Zoom, just on the phone.
Okay. Okay, that's good.
I thought he was great.
That's-
Okay,
that's
so,
Even better.
yeah,
He
yeah.
seemed to really know his stuff. So I don't know if we can move on, Henry, out to the next agenda item, or there needs to be more discussion. The next agenda item was mine about fundraising.
All right, let's move on.
Oh, so is that, did we wrap together the update on tribal consultation efforts? Is that
Yeah, I
sort of
guess,
what we
I
just
guess
covered?
that's,
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
what about them getting a contract? What about Mark Andrews, the contract
Mm.
is still sitting?
no,
Some-
well,
some-
sort of,
Oh,
no. Do you want to explain that, or do you want me to explain it, Henry?
Well, it's, we had some setbacks trying to get that initiated. Until we found out that we have fair amount of latitude in terms of initiating these contracts. It took about a month to figure that out. But ever since, we've had that conversation with them, with Bettina and Mark. And they have yet to get back to us.
oh,
Yeah,
Henry, did you send a signed contract to Bettina?
I did not sign it. No,
Yeah, because I think that was one of
I know.
Lisa's recommendations, just to speed things up, would just be to send them the contract signed, and then they can decide whether they like it or whether they want to change it.
Yep,
Do you want to do that?
I could certainly do that. Yeah.
I think that would be a good way to do it.
What about the price of it? Pay
Well,
for it? Is it?
we've already agreed on that. On the price, they have a set rate. The TIPO has a set rate for the consultation.
And we agreed to pay it, or we have paid it?
We agreed to pay it.
It wasn't that much. What is it, like
$1,000.
$1,700?
$1,000.
Not even that. It was
Yeah.
like $1,100.
$1,100.
Mary Lou, is your hand up?
Oh, no, sorry, I'll take it down.
Okay,
Sorry.
So can we move on to the next item?
yeah.
Sure.
So you'll send the contract signed, Henry?
Yeah,
Could
Can
you,
you CC us? I'm curious.
well, yeah, I mean, I could. I mean, it's just that at this point, they're gonna probably add or subtract things from it.
Oh, right. Okay,
That's what I told them to do.
okay.
But yeah,
So in other words, all right, before we leave this discussion, if the ball is in their court?
that's correct.
should be. We did
Okay.
send, Mary Lou, we did send, or I sent to everybody a copy of the signed contract for Elise McLaughlin.
Okay.
And they should have gotten that in your email.
Mm-hmm.
So fundraising, can we move on to that?
Yeah,
So my thought had been that, we're spending a fair bit of money on these efforts, and that there might be people in the community that be interested in donating money to the town, to our donation account to help us fund this. We do have the money available, but there might be some people who feel like this money was never intended for this purpose. And I thought that it would be a goodwill gesture for us to try to do some of our own fundraising. And I wanted to ask the commission what you thought about it and how to go about doing it. I'm certainly willing to make a donation. Maybe other commissioners are, but there might be people in the community, if they knew about what we're doing, who might say, yeah, this is important to me. I would like to donate some money. And I think that the way we can do it is that we can collect checks made out to the Historical Commission, and then we can have them deposited into this donation account.
Okay, I'm a little confused of it's too vague for me. It's too open for me. I don't know, like, if I'm too, I don't know if it's being possessive with my money or if it's just being a poor person or exactly, but I would like to know where it would be going. Like if I'm going to, and I would give a big amount because that's how much I am committed to this all. I would want to know, a donation account is, whoa. It's almost like
Mary-
a GoFundMe.
No, Mary Lou, let me explain. So the
Yeah.
commission has two accounts with the town.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
The town, there's two accounts with the town treasurer. And
Who's that? Who is the town treasurer? Is that,
Gail, whatever her name is. But the town has its own banking system and they have different accounts. I don't really understand where physically the money is, but it's in a bank. The town has a banking account and we are given we have two accounts. One is a very small account that has a very small balance for year-to-year operational expenses. It's about $350 a year that comes out of the annual budget for the town that is allocated to us. And
right.
we have that $350 in that account. We could actually, if we wanted, use it for printing copies of this report, for example, if we want to do that. Then there's another account. And as you may remember, Mary Lou, the Historical Commission has been receiving these big checks every year from that memorial account for the Quabbin.
All right, that Karen.
Right, we go to the parade and the memorial service on Memorial Day, and then we get this donation. And that money goes into a separate account. That's what I'm calling the donation account. And the money in that account comes from those donations. And then there have been small donations made over the years from Leslie Bracebridge and other people who sold coffee cups and T-shirts,
Postcards.
and greeting cards, postcards.
The Friends?
Yeah.
Is that?
No, it's not the Friends. They have their own separate accounting. They're not part of the town government. So I'm just talking about
I see.
the small donations, but the vast amount of money that's in that account came from that Quabbin Memorial Fund.
Okay.
And we've never spent it. they've been collecting it for over 15 years, and there's now $18,000 in that account.
Okay. So,
And we will get more money this year, so it's going to be up to 20,000, I think, by
okay.
the end of this year.
And so
So-
that would be the account that if we as commissioners were to give, it would go in there.
Right.
And then we won't know where it went.
Well,
Or
you'll
who
know
it
it goes
went
into
to.
that account. Well, you'll know that you're donating it to pay for these expenses for hiring a TIPO and the ceremonial stone landscape.
And
And
pay Lisa McLaughlin?
it would also, it's all rolled into one. So any money we donate to that account,
Okay,
we would be pulling money out for whatever expenses we have. What I'm
Okay.
suggesting is rather than just taking money out, we should maybe try to replenish that account.
right.
I'm not saying that we can raise $5,000 or $6,000. I think that's probably unrealistic, but maybe a few $100s we could raise. And I feel like, given that we haven't done any fundraising for several years, we should be doing some fundraising.
Okay.
Yeah, excuse me for a second. My front door appears to be ajar.
Oh, no. Okay.
So we may have to check with the accountant or someone, because sometimes if you want money to be donated for a particular purpose, you need to have it earmarked, and the accountant keeps it in a separate account earmarked.
Oh, that's good.
Well, I asked Gail about
Yeah.
it, and I think that we could, if it's earmarked for the Historical Commission donation account, that's all we need. And then,
Oh, well, I mean, for people.
I mean, people could earmark it and say, I only want it spent on X, Y, and Z, but I feel like that gets very complicated
Mhm.
for us to do the accounting of figuring out, this person's giving $50, but it's only for a TIPO and not, I think that if I was going to be helping with this, I would really like to keep it a little bit more general and say, here are the projects we're trying to do. If you want to support us, we welcome donations, and this is where you can send your check, send it to the Historical Commission and the town hall, and then it would all go into the donation account.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds better.
People like that idea?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, well, it's clear that you'll be spending money out of that account, so you have to replenish it. We have to replenish it. Otherwise, we'll run out of money in that account.
Right.
Mm.
And I think it would be, again, there might be some people who might object to the use of this money for this purpose. And I think that with that in mind, it would just be the right thing to do to try to raise some money.
I'm not understanding. Would object for the use for what purpose?
For the ceremonial stone landscape projects.
Oh. What kind of people?
I
Citizens.
don't know. I don't think I can really speak to that. I just saying. that there
No,
may
but
be
I
some
mean,
people.
citizens? Is it Shutesburyans? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, for sure.
We can start thinking about creative ways to maybe
So-
appeal to the public here.
So I guess the question,
Yay.
so what I
Yay.
think, so my thought about this is that we should create a flyer or language that we want to use for any communications around this. Maybe this is something you might be able to help with, Greg.
Sure.
And then we have to figure out, how do we want to circulate this information? Do we want to, use next door Shutesbury and maybe our town website and maybe blah, blah, blah. What
I'd
am I
love to
thinking?
see what's allowed. I don't know, like next door Shutesbury may not allow
Oh, it might not
solicitation
allow.
of money.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They probably don't.
Oh, you can get it in there some way.
Well, Paul will yank you right back out too.
Yeah. I wish there was a way, it's in this day and age, a lot of fundraising is done online where people just, have a linked, to their website. They have a linked PayPal account, and people
go-
just click on the link and put in their debit card and they make a donation, but we don't really have a way of doing that, unless we had set up a whole separate foundation or nonprofit to do that, and we're not really set up to do that.
Mm.
It's unfortunate because it would be, now here's a thought. Here's a thought. It's possible that there might be a nonprofit that would be willing to, I'm just thinking about this out loud, and I don't know which nonprofit because I don't want to speak for them, but maybe a nonprofit group might be willing to do some of the advertising and fundraising for us using their platform.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
And then it could be a nonprofit. Then it could be an actual deductible donation if you
It
know,
would be a what
Big
deductible?
yeah, for in taxes if you did enough deductions to do that. But
Well, it would be deductible if they donated to us because we're a good town
oh,
government.
okay.
I
Oh,
give
okay.
you Edsel Florinina.
Ah,
your sales online.
He's there.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, Isabel.
Edsel. Greetings.
you're muted.
She's muted.
You're muted.
Not now, not anymore.
I was at a different meeting, so I came
Oh,
to see if you're still going, and you are.
we are.
Oh, yes.
We're talking about fundraising for the possibility of fundraising for our donation account. Just thinking about how to appeal to people, maybe go through a nonprofit so it's tax deductible. I don't know.
Well, it would be nonprofit, and Henry, donations to the town are nonprofit. The only thing that gets a little complicated is, if people need letters of acknowledgement for their tax returns, if they're deducting donations. These days, most of us aren't itemizing anymore because
Right.
we don't itemize anymore, but somebody might want to have an acknowledge, there would be a little bit of work involved. I mean, I think it's nice if somebody that makes a donation to send a thank you card.
yeah.
So there would be, some busy work around it.
And potentially, I mean, I don't like to donate digitally if I don't absolutely have to.
Yeah.
I prefer to write a check, and you could have people insert their envelopes addressed to the Historical Commission into that lockbox outside
Oh,
of the
yeah.
hall. The way the ballots were allowed to, absentee ballots were able to go
That's
there.
a great idea
so-
because the mail is just very unreliable these days.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. And talk about mail. Does the Historic Commission have how we get the town newsletter and it has that little thing up in the corner? Does the Historical Commission have the ability to do that? Because I wonder if that might be another way to reach people and tell them what we want to do.
I don't know what you mean by a thing up in the corner.
The newsletter, that little thing up in the right hand corner says, it says like, I don't know, it's not free postage, but it's bulk postage or something.
Uh-huh.
Can the Historical Commission do that? Because if we could, we might want to put a flyer out, and maybe that could even have one of those envelopes, and talk about our projects. We could even say something about the signs in
Well,
there.
What I was, I was on or I still am technically on the fundraising committee for another nonprofit, Village Neighbors. And when we've done, I mean, this isn't what I was really thinking about, but what we've done with Village Neighbors is we have a mailing list of people, and we sent out these envelopes that you get printed for donations. And it's kind of like, it has a little card that's incorporated into an envelope.
Yes, I got that.
And, you just stick a check in and it's already pre-stamped.
Right.
Yes. So, we would have to, as a commission, pay for the bulk postage, but yes, you can do that. And there's cost to getting those printed up by a printing service to get those
Right.
kind of envelopes. And in those, people can indicate if they
What-
need a letter acknowledgement.
Right.
Be a check off if they want to
Itzel,
acknowledge it.
Itzel has
for-
her hand up. Itzel.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, the reason I
Right.
put, I was just curious, what is the fundraising for? You know, if it's a town commission, yeah, what is it for? What would there be?
In summary, we have a donation account. It's separate from our line of funding from the town. It's money accumulated from various sources. I won't get into the details, but essentially, we're going to use a portion of that money for some of the work we're doing right now, right? And so the thought is we might want to be replenishing that, in principle, because it's going to run out. But also there may be folks in town who may object to the use of those funds, given that perhaps they may not have been intended for for the things that we're doing.
So we were talking about thinking about some fundraising. So, there's kind of like the low tech way, and then it gets increasingly more high tech and complicated. So the simplest way is by word of mouth or on our website or however we want to advertise it, saying, this is a project we're working on. If you're interested and you want to contribute, you can write a check, tax deductible, send it, or drop it off to the Historical Commission at the town hall. And then that money goes into this account, Azella, and it's an account that basically we have complete control over. We don't have to get permission from anybody to use this money. It's our discretion. It's a discretionary account. We could, I don't know, and then it gets more complicated. So one thought I just had was whether we could find a nonprofit that would do kind of some of the advertising for us. I don't know if Nolambika would be willing to. That might be one. They certainly have the nonprofit apparatus and they have the digital platform and all that.
Well, here's a thought. I mean, is it also as education for the community about what the Historical Commission is, the importance of the projects, the forests,
Well, it's really, we're talking about the ceremonial stone landscapes and the consultation, and we're hiring some consultants.
Right.
And so it's paying for that consultation.
Okay, so the donation funds would help pay for that, for the consultation. I thought there were some funds already for that.
We do have funds. What we're talking about replenishing it.
Okay. I was thinking about engaging kids in some kind of an art/historical storytelling project that would kind of track, like that one. I'd like to know more about the one you sent an email about. That, is it still standing? I think Janice replied, yeah, the last time she saw it. Well, what?
The Scattercook, the Scattercook marker.
Yeah, like kind of do maybe through the library, do a storytelling, and then invite kids to draw or make little paintings of what was important to them in that story, and then display them. There's ways. Hitchcock Center has so art, it can be displayed laminated or on posts, and can be on the common. I just like, how do you engage? I think engage. I don't know.
Well, those are great. I think that's not quite related to fundraising. But I think those are really great ideas. And I know I don't want to kind of get too far afield from it. I know that, for example, Nolambika is creating a curriculum for elementary schools around Indigenous history and ceremonial stone landscapes. And so, once that curriculum is available, maybe we could meet with folks from the school and see if we could maybe get the school and the library to use some parts of that curriculum. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. There are people working on that part of it. But right now I'm just talking about the fundraising for the things that we're already committed to, Azelle. So,
Yeah, but sometimes art is a way to fundraise. Maybe it's
Sure.
the art is auctioned off, the children's art that's responding to this project, or you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like another angle instead of just, you know, here's a paragraph. It's kind of a drier thing. I don't know. I'm not explaining it very
no,
well.
I think those are
Like another
great.
approach.
And maybe that what we might want to have some different strategies. I guess, do you want, you know, what do people think? You know, I think that right now we have a lot on our plate.
Mm.
So I'm thinking, you know, maybe starting the process of doing some fundraising, and then over time we can maybe add more strategies.
Mhm. Yes,
Oh.
fundraising really should be basically an ongoing thing. If we're
Yeah.
spending money on a regular basis, then we should be
We should be
attracting
trying
money.
to, yeah, we really should. Do you want, I'm just trying to think about this. You know, I don't know if the Friends of the Shutesbury Historical Commission would really want to help us with this. I don't think they are set up with any kind of digital online donation account. I don't think they are. I mean, and they were not interested in donating to this project. We did ask them. So I don't know that we can really rely on them to help us with this. What
I
would
think
pe-
you
what
you
would
might,
people like to do?
right. I like the idea that we talked a little bit about I didn't know that you were on the Village Neighbors committee that sent out those letter envelope packets. But I think that's a really good idea. And I think then maybe Azelle, we could incorporate, I don't know, children's artwork, or the students, or we could like talk to the principal and see if they would, or the art teacher down there, if they would get some, you know, artwork that could be put in the letter and then mailed out to all the townspeople. And I don't know if I can't see fundraising specific to a project. I see fundraising specific to the historical commissioners, to our work in general. So I would like to see the signs somehow incorporated into this mailing. And I'd love to.
I guess my thought had been that since we're taking money out
Right,
of the account for ceremonial stone landscapes, that we
right.
should do a fundraising drive for that. And then maybe do some other fundraising on top of it for other projects. But I
Yeah.
thought perhaps there would be enough people in town who would care about this stuff, who maybe would not have donated to the Historical Commission before, but would feel passionate about this and want to help. But you know, to do the mailings that we're talking about, like Village Neighbors, it's expensive. You know, I can double check on how much it costs, but it's not cheap. And then you have to have a mailing list of who are you going to send it to.
Don't we have that in the town already? Addresses? Somebody's got.
Well, we probably could get town residents' mailing addresses. It's also, then we're talking about hand addressing all of those. To do a mailing is going to be a lot of legwork. I mean, maybe if folks want to do that, that might be worth doing. With maybe you know, we could even instead, I'm just saying that those envelopes are expensive, but you know, to send an envelope, like a regular, you know, letter size envelope with a flyer in it, and people would have to either use their own envelopes or drop off money in some sort of an envelope at town hall if we don't send them a return envelope. That's much less expensive. That would
Right.
be easier. Like if Greg could make up a one-page flyer with some content and, you know, some sort of.
I wonder if we don't need a fundraise, like a permanent fundraising subcommittee, Because I don't think, correct me if I'm absolutely wrong, but is this the venue to talk, get down into the weeds?
Well, it's not necessarily, but you know, so it's not necessarily, I mean, this also kind of relates to grant writing, and
Yeah,
that's also something that's been on my agenda for later, not for right now. I've wanted to do some grant writing.
Mhm.
So I mean, if you want to set up a subcommittee for fundraising, I'm certainly happy to be a part of that. I have a lot of experience with nonprofit fundraising.
Yeah, I would be too. And as long as we're not all interested in me on it, because then we've got the same issue.
Then
Right.
it becomes well, why don't you and I try to do maybe have a
Sure.
conversation and
Yeah.
try to come up with things and to come up with a proposal for the next meeting.
And as I say, I think fundraising was also a long-term thing. So Izel's ideas and
Yeah,
Mary
they're all
Lou's ideas,
good.
all those ideas can be put on a calendar.
Yes, they're all good. You know, there's no, we don't want to say no to any good ideas. I think that I'm just thinking in the short run, and I guess there's no urgency around it, but I would like to think about, you know, what are the pitches or what are the angles that people might feel passionate about? And you know, I noticed that, you know, when there was just a post on Nextdoor Shutesbury about the film series, that Nolan Bika was putting on, there was like, I don't know, probably about 20 people who were really enthusiastic about that. And I thought, okay, here's 20 people who are really interested in Indigenous history. They might really be interested in doing something. Like, here's an action step. We're contracting with some tribes, and we are looking for community support in order to make those relationships between town government and Indigenous tribes. And I think there might be some people who would say, oh, that's something new and interesting, and it would make me feel like I'm doing something worthwhile.
Oh,
That
Could
was
I, could I ask, I have an ask and a suggestion. So my ask is what is the status? If there's a Friends of, that must be a nonprofit. Is it
Yes.
it's the nonprofit arm of the Historical Commission?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I don't see how they can say, no, we don't want to fundraise for this. They're supposed we're supposed to be friends, and we're supposed to support.
Well, they did. They
you
did.
would think.
No, they said no.
No,
They said no.
I don't think they get to, is what I'm saying. I don't
Well,
see.
they do because they're
Of course they do.
no, they're independent of us, and
They're
so they can
private.
decide what they want to fund. And I did
Okay.
write to them, and I could find the email, but basically was told that this was not something they were interested in.
So then
They have a bunch of money that they've already raised, so they have an account with a bunch of money that they have done fundraising for. So they have some money at their disposal, and they make grants for different things, but this was not one of their interest areas.
Okay. So what status is the Historical Commission? Is it a civic? Is it a town government?
It's a branch of town government.
It's a branch. So it does have the ability to apply for grants
Yes,
without
of course.
profit,
Yes,
Yes.
but as a civic body,
yes.
as part of it.
Oh.
But then does it have to go through the select board before you can apply for those grants?
No,
I thought you
No.
did.
do you?
Right.
I don't know.
So
Well,
anyway,
A lot of times you need support letters from the town.
Oh,
at any
okay,
rate.
right. You might need
Yeah.
a support letter.
yeah, I mean, I'd be happy to be a part of that, just because I have been writing grants for about 25 years
Great,
to keep all my programs alive and going. And
great.
not that I'm still trying to keep them alive and going. So I feel like
Yeah.
I'm a break between grants, but I'm
Yeah.
good editor
Great.
and can read.
Well, that would
and-
be great. Maybe we'll make it, maybe the three of us can be a part of that as well. I have a lot of grant writing experience also. I've done lots of grants.
Great.
But
Yeah.
so moving on, maybe we should go on, since this is kind of a good segue to the shrub item, and we're getting a little late.
What exactly is a shrub?
That's the State Historic Records
Advisory board.
Advisory Board, and they have a roving archivist program that comes out and evaluates historical archives and makes recommendations for their preservation. And it's a free program. They've been closed due to the pandemic, but they just reopened for new applications. I circulated a draft application that I started working on. It's not a very involved application, and the goal of it would be to have the roving archivist come out and evaluate our storage closet in the Old Town Hall and make some recommendations.
It sounds great to me.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So I can go ahead and submit it once we have, did anybody look at the document and have any recommendations, or do you want to email me about it?
Mm.
Henry's clapping.
I looked at it and I didn't have, I just, there were a couple questions that you had that, I don't know if it's that important, but in the end, you said it was less than 500 boxes of something or other. And, so they have some idea of the size. It would probably be helpful, or even a picture.
Well, I thought it when I was there last, I took pictures, but they're not really helpful. They're not great
Oh.
pictures. And then we would need to have, then we would just need, there's a letter I already made out for Henry that you just need to sign, because we need a letter of support from the chair of the commission. And I can send it out and we'll see.
Yeah.
That's good.
kind of, it's, it's like I only have I feel like I would like to have more information to put in the application. I just don't have it. And that's part of the problem, is that there's no inventory except for what's in Leslie's head.
Mhm.
I was hoping Leslie would be here tonight, because I was hoping she'd have some input on this, but I'll try to talk to her.
And I don't know if it'll come up or not, but I did get that other small shrub grant for the Historical Commission for the Veterans Gravestone Restoration Project. So we did get, I don't know if it was $2,100, I think it was something like that, from them for that. So we're somewhere in their files.
Yeah, but that's a different program, right?
No, it's SHRAB, but it's just not it's not the roving archivist. It's another part of SHRAB.
Yeah, do you want to send me information? I'll mention that we got it, if you can send me the
Okay.
information about that.
Okay.
And so for the veterans, what, Janice?
It was for the gravestone restoration project to help
Oh.
fund the cleaning and restoration of the veterans memorials.
Okay, and what about the big, I don't know how to call it, memorial right there on the town common? What about that? When that's supposed to get?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And I was trying to contact for months the painter who said yes, he would do it, and yes, he would do it before it was freezing, and then just disappeared. And so I don't know if he got sick, if he got busy. I don't know, but I could no longer reach him. I tried telephoning, I tried emailing. So it didn't get done before the weather got bad, and I'm going to get back in touch. I've got the money set aside so that I can return it to them, unless they agree to let us try, another 6 months or something, which they might do. Everything changes with COVID.
That's
so
right. And who's the
Yeah.
they that you have?
SHRAB.
Oh, they gave money for that project
Yeah.
too?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because, I think for sure you should get the extension. And
Well,
I think
hope
that's
so.
I think that's a really worthy project.
Mhm.
So
Thanks.
should we have a motion to approve applying for the roving archivist program? Okay, I'll move
Yes.
that the Historical Commission approve the SHRAB roving archivist program application, and
And then you'll send it forward
I'll just send it on. I'll submit it.
to them, right? You'll send it forward to them. Good.
I'll
So,
second
I
it.
said, oh,
All right, shall we go around the room then? Henry Geddes. Aye.
Greg Colton, yes.
Mary Lou Conca.
aye.
Miriam Defant.
aye.
Janice Stone.
Aye.
Isabel Ferranino.
Is she a member yet?
Not
No,
yet,
no. We'll
not
let you
yet,
vote.
not yet. Okay.
No.
You abstain.
Karen,
Karen.
Yes, aye.
thank you.
Okay, passes unanimously.
Magnanimously.
Magnanimously. All right, so moving on. Moving on then.
So the next item was that we no longer have a representative for the CPC.
What's that?
The Community Preservation Committee.
Oh,
The Historical Commission needs to appoint a new representative. They
Because
were
John-
actually meeting tonight.
John.
Tonight?
tonight or Monday?
No, the CPC was meeting tonight, actually, I think, but
What time?
I think they're meeting now, so it
Oh,
doesn't
really?
help us very much.
Well, this is the committee with big bucks, I understand.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they said no to two things we asked them for, didn't they?
We're very particular about what they,
No, I'm sorry, the CPC does not meet tonight. It met last night.
Oh, all right.
So, does anybody want to volunteer for that?
No.
Yeah. I'll attempt it if I could.
Okay, that's great.
Mm. Okay.
so
But does anybody else want it?
yeah, look,
It might be a little complicated, Karen, in that they review documents and applications, and if you're not,
And
um,
I'm not on the,
I'm sure
internet.
I'm sure they're doing it all by email.
Mm,
yes, that's why I figured, that's what I wondered.
so what would the duties be as a rep? Would you
Well,
attend all meetings?
if you attend the meetings, you get to vote on the projects.
Yep.
And you would be a representative for us if we have any applications going forward, but you would be a voting member of the committee.
I see.
Well, I guess Karen can give it a try and see if the chair of that committee can help with getting the documents to her in some way.
Henry, do you want to maybe email? It's Alan Hansen. Henry,
Yep.
do you want to maybe communicate with Alan about that and see if you can figure that out?
Yeah.
Since they're in kind of the heavy part of the season where they're reviewing projects, I was thinking that if Karen can't do it, should we have a standby, a second choice?
Well,
don't all speak at once.
Not right now.
Mm.
Well, I'm a non-status, so I can't.
Yeah,
Right.
but you're going to
Yeah.
have a status very soon.
Well, I don't know. They
Oh,
didn't
you
give me
will.
any assurance.
They
of
will.
that.
No, they will.
You're an associate. Can
No, not officially.
Yeah,
she's
strategically,
not an associate?
No.
it is-
Oh, I thought an associate was whoever was, oh yeah, okay. You have to be recognized by select board for that
Mhm.
too. Okay, yep.
I mean, strategically, it sounds like an important role.
Mm.
Does.
Is it a once a month meeting? I mean, it's
Just once a month.
yeah, I would be willing to,
Okay.
it
Give it a
sounds like
whirl.
a smart thing to do. To have someone on there. It sounds like
Yeah.
everyone else is.
Well, let's see if they can handle
Try it.
Karen or not. And if she can't, then we'll go to the,
So Henry, you'll clarify that with Alan Hansen?
We're looking at whether or not he can supply the documentation.
Yeah.
Right.
work
Yeah.
out some kind of way of dealing with getting the materials to Karen. Yeah,
All right.
okay.
Possibly I could pick them up if somebody can print them out for me.
Mhm.
Karen, are you on Carver Road?
Yes, Carver Road West.
Yeah, you're about a mile from me. I'm at Carver and Wendell Road.
Ah,
Ooh, Janice?
No, Ezell.
Oh,
I'm right
didn't-
across. I'm across from the Noonans.
I don't know who the Noonans
Oh,
are either.
yeah, it's okay.
The other side of the road, the other
The,
end.
Yeah.
the other Carver people.
Right.
There's
Oh,
two Carver were people, two groups.
in that way.
Yeah.
Harbor
I'd
and
walk-
Wendell at the
I
paved
probably
part.
could walk right through the woods if it was plowed.
That's right. Yeah, I walk down past your house often.
Oh, we should say hi once in a while. Knock on my door.
Okay,
And the house next to the big barn.
that's right.
Fairly.
Oh, yeah, all those great iron things in the yard and
Oh, I don't know how great they are, but it's my husband's collection.
yeah.
All right, so let's go on to the update on historic signs. So that's Mary Lou and Greg, perhaps?
Okay. So I just recently, I haven't even opened it yet. It came in yesterday's mail. I've been talking with Athol commissioners, and my husband and I think I sent pictures to y'all of their signs.
Hmm.
My husband and I were driving through Athol, and and I saw one of the signs, and I got all excited and got out of the car and took a picture, and then realized there was another one like about a mile or so down the road, and I believe I photographed 3 of them. So then I contacted the Athol Historic Commission, and then they passed me on to a librarian who was also a commissioner. And so she called me back and we talked about it. And they did that in, I think, 1975.
Wow.
And I know
Huh.
they did that project, yeah. And the gentleman, and I can only imagine that it was, he was a commissioner, and that he maybe had, that he had a lot of money and he had a lot of ins, like on people to get on board to do it. Okay, so she mailed me the map of that trail. It's a historic trail. And the markings, they're really not meant to be read when you ride by, because they say a lot. They almost say a little paragraph. And I think so there's 6 historic districts in Shutesbury that are bona fide, that are on that MCAIS, MACRIS. There are 6 bona fide historic districts. And we thought, when John and I and Greg were first talking, that we would go with getting 3 of them up and running. Let's
Town
see.
Center, Pratt Farms,
That's right.
and then Lake Wyola?
Lake Wyola. Oh, so I talked to the president. Did you know Lake Wyola has a president? She doesn't even, huh?
Yeah.
The association.
Yeah, she doesn't even live in Shutesbury, which I found quite curious. And I talked to her about that, and she was concerned about like something ungodly sticking up in the near their lake, or that and
Unsightly.
yeah, unsightly. So yeah, so she and I have talked a couple of times, and what is actually, Lake Wyola is listed twice on the 6 historic districts. So the one that I would be interested in is Locke's Village, which includes that big, beautiful house. And then it also includes the church that now is part of Camp Anderson. Yeah, so I have a lot of pictures that I can try and get together and send out again. Oh, the wording. the ones in Athol, I think that they talk about Native Americans that I thought was really a good thing. They talk about the original name of Athol, which now I'm forgetting, but it begins with the P, the Native American name.
Patchwag.
I'm sorry?
I think it's Patchwag.
Oh, no, I think it's Potomac. Something like that, which I think that if we were to put the one up in Shutesbury Center, we should say that we should have its, original name.
We don't really have the original. We don't know.
I
that.
know that's true. That's
You know,
still
I know that there are some thinking that some of the words in the original land deed is referring to a name, but we don't really
Yeah.
know for
yeah.
not with enough clarity that we could put a sign up about it.
Yeah, so that would be something to research and then come to, I think then what, we as historical commissioners would have to agree what the original name would be. That
Well,
would be on the sign.
I've been doing a bunch of research on the original land deeds and
Yeah, oh wow.
and
Maybe you could share that with me.
yeah,
Original land deeds, what, between colonial people, like that they
between
gave
the
each other?
indigenous, the
Oh, you
indigenous, the Indian land deeds
That they took?
that they took.
Yeah.
But the reality is we do not know with any certainty where there are some Native American place names in those deeds, but we do not know with any certainty that they're in Shutesbury or where in Shutesbury, not with enough certainty to put like roadside markers for a district. I mean, that just isn't going to exist. That's not going to be a possibility that we would have that.
This is a great project. It's a big project and with lots of little details like that. And I think it's a long-term project. Didn't you say, Mary Lou, that Leverett took 10 years to get their signs up?
Leverett did, yes.
I hope it doesn't take that long for us, but it is a long-term project. And I don't know that we need to go into that precise detail
Right.
tonight.
But it sounds like, the original thought had been, I think, 2 or 3 districts for the roadsides. I think there's kind of like 2 things you're talking about. One is like sign markers that you're entering a district or leaving a district that sort of mark the boundaries of the district. And then you're talking about a historical sign that says in this location,
George Washington ate here.
Something happened here, or this is the location of something that happened once. Historical interpretive signs, let's say. And that might be something we might want to have at some point, like either on Town Common or something.
Yep.
I thought it was very interesting, the mystery of the Scatticook Indian stone marker has been solved. And
Yes.
I'm just fascinated by that, and that it just...
So the information was there, you just had to find it.
We just had to find it. And I'm kind of glad now that it wasn't taken down.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for all the thoughts we had about the person who put it up, thinking that she was mistaken, and when she wasn't.
Cool.
Oh, and one more thing I learned, the marking, okay, there are -6 from the 183. There are 183 total listings on that Macris site. And I learned that the markings for your house, that if we made them, the people who are living in the house would purchase. So that might be some kind of fundraiser too. If people, you know what I'm saying, wanted the marking.
If someone wanted the marker that said George Washington ate here,
Yes.
here, I'd buy it, and that would be the fundraiser for the commission.
Yes. Yep.
It's a possibility.
Well, clarification for Ezel, the Macris, I guess, is a database. I believe it's through the Massachusetts Historical Commission.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. And they just list historical districts around the state. And that's what that's what.
Well, they do inventories, and they've done a detailed historic inventory of Shutesbury several years, like 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And so the map, it's an interactive map, where you click on a link, a dot, and then it'll open up the inventory, how old the house is, who is the first owner, what do they have? It's very interesting.
Very, very, the year built. It's the Massachusetts Cultural Resource Information System. And they shortened it to say MACRIS. And one thing I found curious was that Leslie Bracebridge was new to that. She was unfamiliar about this particular database.
Well, she's used it. She's used it for the houses. I think she didn't agree that those were official legal historic districts, and I don't know. She insisted that the town has never approved any historic districts in town.
Yeah, that's a different. Yeah, that's true. There's a difference.
Odd.
See, we're having a funny conversation about historic district signs, because ordinarily when towns put up these signs, it's because the town voted on designating a historic district.
Exactly.
And usually when they do that, there's some zoning covenants around that.
Okay.
There's like preservation restrictions within those districts. So obviously most homeowners don't want those kind of legal districts, because those covenants would restrict what they can do with their homes.
No, yes. Remember, Miriam,
so we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
Yes.
We're just talking about a more informal kind of historical marking. And I think in Leverett, they didn't do that kind of a preservation district.
Exactly.
Right.
We had this conversation once with Bob Groves when he wanted to fix the old town hall, and he said that Shutesbury would not put those restrictions. That he made a comment that you can make McDonald's a historic place and you can declare it a historic district. That the town itself would decide. Yes, because that might be a resistance from people, that they wouldn't want to have their house in a historic district because
they couldn't paint it purple or something.
Exactly. Exactly.
So related to this, we've had a little bit of a conversation, though we aren't really been talking about it, this idea of a scenic byways bylaw.
That's
which,
right.
Again, is again, it's a zoning tool, but it could preserve kind of the more rural character of some of our dirt roads and stone walls. And I know that people there, it's a very contentious issue in town, whether people like their dirt roads or not. Mud season, half the town hates the dirt roads and wants them paved immediately. And then half the town loves their dirt roads and is happy with the mud.
It depends on how the town manages the roads, and they used to manage them better.
They did. It's absolutely true. And I lived way at the end of Montague Road for 15 years, and I will attest to that things have changed.
I think regardless of how well they manage them, and I commend them for their efforts. I just think that the dirt roads will destroy your car. It's a matter of 10 years before it starts to rust, and it's terrible.
Well, I don't think they have enough staff either.
Anyway.
Not for in March, they don't.
Yeah.
Not during mud season. People get pretty frustrated.
I know.
Heated debates.
Or plowing in winter, or dust control in summer. Anyway,
Potholes.
yeah. So, is there anything in particular that we need to do action on? You're still working on the sign situation, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, process.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So we have a new business. if we have time.
We don't.
We don't.
Uh-oh.
Do we need any more new business? We got enough stuff going on.
When's our next meeting, by the way? That's a good
Okay, next meeting. Uh-oh, I have to go get my calendar. Hold on.
Me too. I gotta get the calendar.
We're gonna get it's good to get things posted like ASAP so we can reserve the spot.
Yep.
Right.
And maybe while we're talking about this, I should look at the town calendar
Yeah.
as we're speaking.
What? Sorry,
Just
what are you
look at the
looking
town
for?
calendar to make sure
I'm
there's
gonna-
no conflicts.
Oh,
I'm
what
just
else
gonna
is
look
already
for
there?
scheduling conflicts. I noticed that another meeting did end up getting scheduled tonight.
Yes, my cemetery commission meeting. It was supposed
Weren't we trying to avoid them?
Yes, it was supposed to be last week, but the holiday screwed him up, so he didn't post in time.
Which is
So he
like-
automatically changed it to this tonight, same time.
All right, so if we're gonna do the same Wednesday, it would be the 24th of March,
Yep.
Okay,
6 p.m.
okay. If that's best for people.
Can you do that, Azelle? I know you've got another,
Well, so is this Wednesdays are the historic commission days for meetings?
well, the
That-
issue, Azelle, is that the town can't, there's a limit to how many Zoom meetings can be happening at the same time. And there's other commissions that have Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday pretty well staked out.
Uh-huh.
So we've sort of by default ended up on Wednesdays because it's kind of a time where we are more likely to be able to get in.
Well,
the evening
yeah,
slot.
I mean, I had joined the anti-racism reading and discussion group, but obviously it's every week. So
Okay, so it'd be
every Wednesday, so I could skip one here.
For
and
what
there.
time? 6 to 7 or what?
It is 6 to 7.
We'll
So
still
if
be
the
doing it
historical
afterwards.
commission was 7,
Yeah,
like jump over, but
That would be okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how people feel about that.
I'd be great with 7. It's easier for me, but
Is it?
Yeah, I'm
I'd be
fine.
great with Friday.
no. Forget it. No Fridays.
So we're talking about March 24th at 7 p.m. Is that what we're thinking about?
That works for me. It's,
Hmm.
I can have a bite to eat and
Yeah.
sit down and do this.
It
Good.
might be my first official one.
That's right.
7 works better for me.
Okay.
Mm.
Let's do that. It's better for most of us at least.
Is everybody, Greg, Mary Lou?
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm. Yeah, Wednesday is gonna be tight.
The 24th.
But anyway, sure.
7,
Yes.
Yeah.
7 p.m. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I just broke the pencil.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm gonna schedule the meeting so 7 p.m.
Okay.
It's scheduled.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you.
Right, so any last word?
Well, I just want to let people know that I'll be checking emails.
Okay.
Good luck.
And I'll
Leslie.
do the things I usually do for the secretary, except for the minutes
Okay.
until got my hand free.
Good luck with the surgery.
Yes, really.
Oh, Miriam,
Tough time to have an operation, huh?
Right.
Mhm.
Nobody
Never
wants to be in a
good.
hospital.
Yeah.
Are you staying overnight or
I hope
going in
not.
it?
It's a
Good,
day-
yeah.
It's a day thing. But
Good,
It's in
good.
Boston, so it's drive
Yikes.
back isn't gonna be fun.
Oof.
Yeah.
Wow.
At least it
Anyway.
looks like you've got good weather for it anyhow.
Oh, good. But I
Mm.
hadn't checked. I didn't want to know.
All right.
All right.
All right, good. Thank you
There
all.
we go.
well, ciao.
Oh, so
Bye.
do we have to officially vote to adjourn or
We
something?
do. Thank you, Janice.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
A
I'll
second.
second.
2 seconds.
Okay. All right, everybody in favor?
Right.
All right,
Aye.
nobody wants to stay on, I hope.
Nobody wants to say
All right, thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Night.
no.
Thanks for a lot. Yeah. Take care. Bye
Take
bye.
it- yeah, take care.